Hello and welcome back to Community Collab 360. I'm Emily Addis, your Allen Community Association Vice President and host. Just a reminder that we are going to be doing a forum with some of our candidates on September 5th at the Lakeland Village Clubhouse, so we hope to see you all there. Today I'm with Randy Neatherlin, your current county commissioner and candidate for the upcoming election. How are you, Randy?
Incredible, of course.
Good, great to see you. So tell me, we just want to get to know you a little bit and the man that you are. So tell me a little bit about your childhood and upbringing and your family.
Okay. Childhood's pretty interesting. I've been working since I was 7 years old.
Okay.
My mother was sick. She had some mental issues, and literally I had to do a lot to take care of the family. And then when I got to be about 15 years old, she came out to stay. The doctor that was taking care of her went to jail because that's how he was taking care of all of his people, and that's how he made his money.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a funny story how it comes to be, and that's how I ended up here. I went to, when you're 15 years old and you're Italian, you don't fight with your mother.
Oh.
So I gave her a kiss goodbye. I went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, did a little cowboying.
Okay.
Up in the Grand Tetons.
Nice.
Horses for
I love
very
Jackson.
rich people.
Yes.
We did stake rides and stuff. My job was to bring the horses in and brush them down and then saddle them up in the morning for all the very rich people. And it was a wonderful job. I was fishing during the day with my hand on a glacier, swimming in a pond, and it was just spectacular.
Man, that sounds amazing.
But then came the snow. And in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, that's all you get. And
yes.
I don't do snow. I don't like snow. So I ended up coming here. My father lived here.
Okay.
And I didn't really know him. I stayed with him for a couple of weeks before. And I came here. I found me a little place. I had a little trailer with no power, no water. And put myself through school. And
good for you.
These people here, they took me in, they raised me. Wow. Literally, all my Christmases and Thanksgivings were at the different Andersons' houses and the different families that basically made me who I am today.
That's incredible.
That's why I do what I do, too, because I owe them everything. I had nothing.
Right.
Imagine this was the darkest place I'd ever seen in my life. Grand Tetons are above the clouds.
Oh, yeah.
So it's actually very bright at night, but here it was so dark, it was so scary. But all these people, they took me in, they raised me, and I went to school at North Mason.
Yep.
I was the AC president of the high school there. Played football here. Just the greatest community in the world. I owe them everything.
This became home. Absolutely.
Absolutely home. I don't know what I'd do without this place. I love it a lot.
That's wonderful. That's really great. So do I. You know, it's just such a great community around here and really takes you under your wing. So that's great. What a neat story.
It's kind of a little joke that we're the most vicious people in the world, because we can be. When we're at war here, we're pretty bad, but if anybody else attacks you, they go after them. So it's also one of the most beautiful places, because the people here will stand with you when the time comes.
Yes,
and that's proven over and over again with me. You've seen.
Oh, definitely. Certainly. Well, and so basically coming from nothing, growing up, essentially becoming a man in this community, and then you have children, married.
Yep, I'm most blessed man in the world. I'm married for 22 years.
Okay.
It's funny because I refused to date her. She was my best friend's little sister. She lived in California, and we were friends. We would talk all the time. I still refused to date her. Then one day she gave me a call. She called me from California and says, "I need some advice." I go, "What you got?" And she goes, "I'm thinking about quitting my job." She was doing mammographies and stuff back then.
Okay.
I'm quitting my job and moving up to Washington. I wanted to know what you think about that. Well, I know what she meant, so I just went quiet. And this will tell you the kind of woman she is. She says, "You know what? It doesn't matter what you think. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to move up there. You and me, we're going to be together. Eventually, you and me, we're going to get married." And we've been married for 22 years. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I reached up to get her. She's the most incredible woman in the world. All the cancer and everything that I've gone through and how she's picked up and carried everything over the years. I get emotional when I think about that. Probably
for good reason.
But literally, I could never do better. She's the most incredible woman in the world. And then my oldest daughter is getting married this Saturday, actually.
Oh, congratulations.
The hard part for me is I'm actually performing the wedding and walk her down the aisle. So
oh my God.
It's not something I would want to do normally, but she asked, so I...
what an honor. That's very cool. Yeah. Obviously, she thinks highly of you for,
And then you guys know my son. He has the little food trailer
That's right. Wise Guys.
Yep,
right?
Wise Guys Italian food, lobster rolls. People come from Seattle and Bellevue for those lobster rolls and clam chowder bread bowls. And my other son's working right next door over here at the boat shed. And my youngest daughter is 14. She's just starting high school.
So 4 children.
Yep, and they've all gone and graduated except for the one that's left from North Mason.
Go Bulldogs.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that's great. And you live up here in Lakeland Village, and you've been a resident of there for quite some time now.
It's interesting, too, because I never thought I would. It just wasn't my
your
style,
cup of
so to
tea.
speak. Yeah, but we lived on the south shore of the Hood Canal.
Okay.
Not on the rich side, on the poor side.
Yeah.
But we're on a straightaway.
Oh.
And so many times my wife would go to pull out, and they decide they want to pass there. It just was too dangerous.
Yeah.
And
that
then I
road
got
is
an
scary.
opportunity, the right price and everything on a house here that was going through auction. And I got to admit, just like everything else, I wouldn't regret that either, because the community also has taken me and treated me extremely well.
That's great.
I've been able to enjoy a lot of the beauty of this community because of how they've treated me and brought me in. So
that's wonderful. And that's basically how you decided to step into a role like this.
Yeah, back in the day when I first started into politics, so to speak, if you remember, they were starting the sewer in Belfair, and it was crushing businesses.
Oh, yeah.
And as I said, I owe this community everything. And I remember the first time that it was even a thought. It was a letter to the editor that we need somebody like Randy Neatherlin to run for county commissioner, because at the time I was vice president of the Pee Wees. I had been for
I
Pee-wees for
I remember
18
that.
years.
Yeah,
I coached over 1,000 kids, and but I was the one that would battle the school. But so they said that, and then the next week there was letters in the editor, several of them say, "No, we need Randy Neatherlin,"
Interesting.
and literally.
Yeah.
Eventually I said, okay. And then it's so funny because I lost that race. The first time after I agreed to do it, my statement that I was going to run was on the same newspaper as Tim Sheldon decides to run for county commissioner. Oh. He's on the front page. I'm on page 27.
Oh, no.
And I remember reading that. And it's like the great Tim was like, oh my gosh, my gut.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do politics anyway.
I know. So you just kind of fell into it naturally, honestly. You were appointed by the community.
Yep. Well,
basically.
I ended up becoming a port commissioner for the Port of Allen. I did that for 6 years, and then I ran for county commissioner again, trying to save the community from being collapsed because of the sewer, and which we've been very successful of, if you've noticed.
Yes.
We didn't raise the price out there for many years till we can catch up, and now it's in the black. It's running very well right now. It's doing extremely well.
Good. That's great. Yeah. Well, thank you for all that you've done for the county so far. And so I've always wanted to know, why do you wear your jacket all the time?
It's funny because when I first...
You always look dapper.
Well, thank you. It's so funny though, my very first meeting, I was made chair of the Mason County Commission 15 minutes after I got there. I had an issue with the past commissioner. They wouldn't let me, didn't want me in there. You know how politics is. And so I wasn't allowed in to see my office until after January 1st is when I was officially a commissioner. Well, January 1st is a holiday. Just so happened that our first meeting was January 2nd. So I came in, and 15 minutes later, I'm up at the podium and I get selected to be the chair of the county because of some different stuff that was going on.
Yep.
And after the first meeting, I was coming down out of there, and there was a 93-year-old lady who proceeded to kick my rear end. She said to me, she goes, the way you're dressed, you're letting your community down. And I go, that's what I said. I said, everything I'm wearing is brand new.
Yeah.
I just bought everything I was wearing. I thought I was dressed up. But she says, you know, in Mason County, Olympia and them, they look down on us.
Interesting.
And you may be able to overcome it. You may be that guy. But how much money are you going to lose us before you overcome it?
Wow.
And if you want to be respected when you go there, you have to dress the part.
Absolutely.
And I told you I'm Italian. You know what an Italian does when a 93-year-old lady yells at you? You just lower your head and say, okay.
Totally, yeah.
And so I went out and I bought a jacket, and I've been wearing them ever since. And here's the thing. She was right.
Right.
She was 100% right. And I found out quickly, there's one other part to it too, because I told my daughter, I used to take my daughter and pick her up for preschool. And I would take her to lunch, and I would explain to her that her value and how she sees herself will determine how other people see her.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to tell her, no boy, even your father, ever takes you out to lunch unless he brings you flowers, candy, or bubbles. And he must always dress up because you're worth it if you don't hold yourself.
I love
so you put that together, the community's worth it.
Yes.
But now the funny part about it is she was 100% right. as soon as I put on a jacket, things changed. And people I've known for 30 years even changed, which is sad, but at the same time was reality.
Oh, yeah.
I would put on a jacket and I became known as Mr. Neatherlin. That bothered me a lot because I was proud to be Randy. I was proud to be a friend. I take off the jacket, I'm Randy. But I put on a jacket, I'm Mr. Neatherlin.
Yeah.
And I'm very approachable. If you ever see me in a restaurant, people will sit down and we talk.
Yep.
If I'm wearing my jacket, people will stand up to talk to me. If I take my jacket off and set it on the chair behind me, they will sit down to talk to me. I'll go to McDonald's in Shelton and I just have fun. I'll put my jacket on. But that's how it works. So she was 100% correct.
Yeah.
After I realized that, what was I supposed to do? Because from then on, if I started to run around without it, I'm not trying to be anybody special, but the community deserves that I treat them with the same way I would ask my daughter to be treated.
Right.
But that I get them everything I can.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
that's why you never see me without a jacket. But after this is over, when I'm done, the next time you see me in a jacket is at my funeral. Because that's not something, it never was before.
Yeah.
I got 30 years of Shake and Shingle Mill. I've had many different businesses. I just never saw myself as that guy.
Right. Interesting. Well, what a neat story, though.
I got to show you one thing, though.
Okay.
I'm never confused. I don't know if you see that on the camera. White socks.
Oh, yeah.
Even at a funeral, you're going to notice that
you got the white socks.
That's my way of remembering who I am.
That's good.
That's my way of standing up to the man, even from the man.
Right. Hey, we all got to have our thing, right?
Because I'm never confused. I know who I am. I know where I came from. I know, and I'm proud to be from here. I'm not confused, so I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very respectful of you to, present yourself in such a way, even though it's not necessarily who maybe you thought you were, but you're right. The county does deserve that. So, and the community.
You go into Olympia, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
One time I had an issue at a hotel and I was wearing swim trunks. I went up and I was talking about the issue and they ignored me. I went upstairs, I put on my clothes, I came back down. It was Mr. Neatherlin. We're so sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So again, that 93-year-old lady was wise, extremely wise. And I know that I've been able to attain a lot more things for our county because I wear it.
Yeah. Well, that's what a neat story. Yeah, I've always wondered, and I'm sure a lot of the county has. So that's great. So how do you relax? What's some of your hobbies? What does Randy like to do without the jacket?
I wish I could tell you I had one because I
dedicated so much life to this.
And I don't even think of it as just always trying to be there and being accessible. That people always take advantage of that in a good way. It's not a bad way.
Oh yeah.
If you're a tool and you're in the drawer, you want to be the tool that's used. You don't want to be the tool that nobody knows how to use.
Of course.
I take it as an honor when they call me. Like last night, I was talking to somebody at 10:30, and somebody else was calling me, and I got off the phone talking to them, and they said, "We apologize for calling so late," but I said I was just on the phone with somebody else.
Yep.
And me and him were done at like 12:30.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the way it works.
Yep.
It's when you're needed.
Yes.
It's when you have value.
Right.
So I don't know. It's funny how it all works out, but it's all definitely worth it.
Yeah.
When it's over with. I just never would have thought this was going to be my path, but
interesting. God had a different plan.
When I was in high school here, I had 3 businesses.
Oh, I remember. Come to my friend's car lot.
But
I will never forget that.
Even that one there was funny because I started it for a friend. He turned into something that I don't want to, and so I ended up with something I never even wanted. I was the friend. I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, interesting.
But no, when I was in high school, I had 2 video arcades and a Shake and Shingle Mill.
Oh, I did not realize that.
While I was a senior in high school, because I was on my own. And
right.
I was living, on my own.
Had to support yourself.
Yep. And it's just so funny. When I look in the mirror, I still see a Shake and Shingle guy. I do $200 million budgets, but yet that's what I see when I look in the mirror.
Yeah, that's really neat. Well, how about this? If you were to take your wife on a date anywhere, what would be like your perfect date night?
And I guess I can say that is my hobby because I travel.
Right. Okay.
I do 2-3 day travels.
Yeah.
I work so often. I work the whole time I'm gone. I stay up at night looking for bargains. So I'd take her to Boston for a couple of days. And
oh, how cool.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Right now I'm taking my kids on a weekend one. I'm taking 2 of them at least, 2 of the children. I'm going to Vegas and $48 round trip.
Where did you find that?
I'll show you afterwards.
Okay.
I travel according to where the sale is instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Vegas. Instead, I see it's on sale. I decide to go to Vegas there. I maybe use a world mark or anything we do. And
how
so
cool.
I guess that would be my hobby.
Yeah.
And so I would take my wife to Boston. That's where we do our honeymoon. We go back there once in a while just to spend a couple of days, hang out, and go get a raspberry lime Ricky.
Okay,
and,
I've heard of it.
It's actually spectacular, but even better than that, it's going to sound disgusting, but it's incredible. It's called a chop suey sandwich.
Chop suey sandwich.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Okay, it's literally chop suey and an egg bun, a bread bun. But the first time I ever did, I was in line at this place called the Willows.
Okay.
And there's a guy behind me, and he's making all this noise. He's eating. And I was behind him. I finally had to turn around and I had to look at him and think, what is he doing?
Yeah.
So he's sitting there, his face is right up to this, and he's eating it with a fork. And it was hilarious. And I asked him, I go, what do you got there? And he goes, chop suey sandwich. I go, what? He goes, chop suey sandwich. I go, where'd you get that? And he goes,
stop bothering me. I'm eating my
I'm pretty sure I went over and I got one. I'm pretty sure I looked just like him.
Oh, I believe it.
Because it was the greatest thing I had ever eaten. And so when we go back there, that's
you always get that.
You betcha. I go try to find the chop suey sandwich.
That's awesome. Well, what a fun, just like, I don't know, little thing that you and your wife have together. And
well, we're blessed because even if we were arguing, we get in the car or we go to a place, we don't argue the whole trip.
That's cool.
We travel extremely well together. So that would be the dream thing, is to not argue, nothing, just
travel. Yep. I love it. Well, maybe that's in your future after you finish being our leader. So
it is, actually.
Well, that sounds good. Well, if there's just kind of following up here, if there's one thing that you kind of want the community to know about you and kind of your heart and anything like that, or I'm putting you on the spot here.
It's actually an interesting question because you'd think that I'd be asked that more, but I'm not. Mm-hmm. The one thing I'd want them to know about me is get to know me and ask me instead of believing what somebody might tell you. But that's how it is in all politics.
It is.
I'm always amazed at the things I hear I do. I really am. Because I literally, it's like I wasn't there. That'd be interesting.
Right.
And I have people battling me in battles in places I'm not even at. And that's okay too. But if you ask me a question, I'm always going to be able to tell you the answer. Whether you like my answer or not, I'm the same guy in every room I go into.
Yep.
But I would like them to know that I'm just as straightforward as I appear.
Yeah.
You ask me, I'll tell you. And I do actually care. I'm not saying that for politics or anything else.
Yep.
You heard my story of why I do what I do.
Yeah.
If you ever follow me on Facebook or anything, I love these people. Mm-hmm. I actually do. I think about it when I see them, and I'm hugging. I get more hugs than anybody ever deserves in this world. If you ever go to the store with me, it takes me 2 hours to get a gallon of milk. Oh. And it's actually a beautiful thing, though, because it's a wonderful relationship with everybody.
Absolutely.
Even though my wife will get a little bit upset because she'll go and do all the shopping and find I've only made it 10 feet further. But I want them to know they can always come up to me. They can always talk to me. They can always say hi.
Right.
They can always ask me a question. They can always get mad at me. That's okay too.
Yep.
But I'll take those hugs as well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Call me if you need me.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me, Randy. I really appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in to Community Collab 360. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you at the forum on September 5th.
That was real good.
風を集めて